What's up everyone, it's your boy NR2003, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome everyone to Charlotte Motor Speedway here for race number 19 of season 4 of the JBL Cup Series. 4 races left, and it is down to crunch time, and the points are almost even. They are even going into this one. After a wild Daytona, we have a tie for the points lead going into the Advanced Starbucks 500 here today. The first time we were here at Charlotte was 600 underneath the lights, and it was a barn burner of a race. Almost went caution free, but the racing was absolutely fantastic, and hopefully we see the same here today. I'm not alone for this one. I am joined by Alexander Graham up here in the JBL booth. Thanks for joining me here at Charlotte.
Yeah, you almost said Benny Watson there, but he's in the race, and going to be interesting to see what he can do. Because he's a chase driver, and like you were mentioning to me, that last race we had at Daytona, those points really closed in. I mean, heck, we got a tie for the points lead coming into this race, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all goes down. But this is a wild track. You know, these guys are going to put on a great show here today, and I'm excited to see how it all goes down.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned it. You have a tie for the point lead with Richard King and Derek Hamill on top of the points. And then here's the bad thing. If we go to the back of the field, Richard King starts deep in the field in the last row. Nathan Stapleton deep in the field. The number 20 Wyatt Walker starts deep in the field. Joe Witkowski, Derek Hamill, Justin Seidel. Half of the chase drivers start deep in the field. And with this track, it's a wild track, but it can sometimes be hard to pass, but sometimes it also can be easy to pass. So for these back six chase drivers, especially King, tie for the points, what do they have to do to manage the points gap?
Well, they're going to have to hold that inside lane. I think that's the place you want to be, but it's a long race. 84 laps. There's a lot of time for them to work their way up to the front. So as long as they have a good setup on their car, and you know this race actually stays green, I think that actually will probably be something that plays into their factor. If you get a wreck back in there, you got to avoid it. So I think a long green flag race will definitely play in their favor, and just holding it on the inside the best they can, and let's hope that they have a good setup. Of course, with this being an equal rating series, you know, who knows what they got underneath of their cars here today, but it's going to be a lot of fun to see who gets it done.
It's going to be a wild 1-2 stopper, and before we get things underway, here are the points after race 18 and chase race number 3. We have a tie for the points lead. Richard King and Derek Hamill tie at 2,100 points exact. Jordan Stout third in points, -8. Scott Upton, who starts second, is -15. Ben Watson -18. Travis Crampton -20. Those six draws are fairly tight with each other. Seidel -33. Trey Smith -36. Joe Witkowski -39. and Abel -47. Wyatt Walker -49. and Nathan -58. So some of those drivers, especially Abel, Walker, and Ullman, need a lot of help. 6 drivers realistically have a shot to potentially leave here with the points lead, and it's gonna be a wild one. And they are already rolling off here at Charlotte, and here we go. 40 drivers, 4 laps, 2 pit stops. Who do you think will get the job done in the Advanced Starbucks 500?
I think it really could be anyone in this field, but I'm going to be crazy, and I'm going to go with the driver who's tied with the points lead, Richard King. I know he starts all the way back in 39th, but like I said, if this thing stays green and he's got a good enough car, and obviously he's been pretty solid this season, I feel like he might have an opportunity. I think that is very possible, so we'll have to see if that ends up happening.
Not a bad pick. King has been probably the second most consistent driver all year with Jordan Stout. So if anyone can do it from the back to the front, it could be King. Roger James and Scott Upton on the front row. And we are green flag racing for the Advanced Starbucks 500 at Charlotte. Let's go 500 miles of racing at Charlotte this time around. Lap 1 will be led by Roger James and Scott Upton in second. Here comes Trey Smith bound for third to the inside of Fisher.
And watch out for these guys on the inside lane. didn't seem to have a lot of momentum there on that inside. The outside lane seems to be working a lot better here today, but we got a battle for the race lead as Scott Upton. They're rolling to the inside. We'll see if they can make the pass on Roger James here. And they're going to be side by side off the corner, I believe.
And Scotland's easily going to take it, and that's one thing that we will have to wait and see what exactly plays out, because we saw fantastic racing in the Coca-Cola 600. Surprisingly, multiple grooves were into play. Have to see if that happens here, and I think these guys are going to be really, really racy here at the start until the tires fall off. They will fall off, and once they do, it will play into a massive factor as, oh boy, how about a wash up from Fisher, and then how about Tway Smith making it 3 wide for the lead.
Yeah, we got 3 wide here. How about this? These guys don't really roll off each other, and it's been a while since I've called a race with equal ratings in the stock cars, and it's just so much different than when you have ratings in play. And I know there's talk about that maybe happening here in the JBL Cup Series next year, but regardless of the fact, that's what makes these races so interesting. Anybody can win it from any starting position, essentially, and it's going to be fascinating to see if some of those guys from the back move their way up. It looks like that inside lane is working now, but these guys got to be careful going 3 wide off the corner and through the dog leg here.
They are battling 4 wide with Monaco, Bright, Ton, and Nelson. Absolutely crazy stuff at the moment. These guys trying to get as best as track position as they can get before the tires play into a factor, and they will play into effect. It's going to be about a second and a half to 2 seconds, and maybe 2.3 seconds. So once tires kick in, it will really play into effect, and that's why these drivers are really going crazy at the start of this thing. Allison Lane, the defending champion, not having quite the season that she wanted, will leave that lap, but Tway Smith going to challenge to the inside here, and Tway Smith is looking pretty strong up to this point.
Get to see Allie run up front. She's had a bit of a tough season over in the Wawa Cup Series of late, even though she's in the chase over there. But good to see her have a good run here today. Trey Smith, though, with a good run. How about Memphis Fisher there in that 77 as well? Trey Smith, watch out for Trey Smith. I almost picked him. I almost was thinking, he's starting up front there, but I thought we're going to see a lot of cycling in this race, and we might still see a lot of cycling as this race goes along, but Trey Smith, definitely a solid driver, and no surprise to see him run well. As look at Allie there on the outside. She is really close to that wall there, and trying to get around her teammate Memphis Fisher right there on the outside lane.
The outside lane can play into effect, and especially in 1 and 2. Allison tried it. Still trying it in 3 and 4, but not going to be quite as strong as Crampton is going to take second away. And Crampton could be a little bit of a underdog of this chase. He's been not really the best driver of the season. He's had some good ones, but not as many good ones as drivers like Hamill, Upton, and Stout, the top 4 in points. But Crampton in second, and we got chases 1, 2. Great sight to see, as that's not been the case for most of the chase so far. But, and how about the uncharged driver, BP Reds at PS12 with the number 50?
One thing about the Eagle ratings, even the uncharged drivers can run well, but hey, it happened in the Wawa Cup Series at Dover earlier this year, and Sam Oskin won as a Sprint Series driver, which, that's kind of the equivalent to the uncharted guys over here. But, hey, good run for Ruiz there in the 50 machine. And, of course, Travis Crampton there, also running in the Wawa Cup Series, And when I'm ever in the booth with Nathan here, I always reference my own series because, there is a bit of a crossover. Crampton's been doing pretty well over there in the Wawa Cup Series for your team, Nathan. And I think that experience over there with those guys definitely playing out here. But he is losing a couple of positions as the 3 moves to the inside there of Eric Monaco.
Yeah, but similar paint scheme as well here today as what he's been running in the Wawa Cup Series for. That's racing a JBL Orange, Poppy Pink Orange, similar colors, and a great one for him so far. As we got Team Call versus Spy right here, full colors under a blanket with both machines here. As Fitzy's moving his way up, and here comes some more chasers. Jordan Stout, one of the most consistent drivers all season long up here. Eli Bright and Aaron Abel, who he had a terrible night at Chicagoland last night in the Power Truck Series. Was involved in 3 different cautions, and most of the time he was the one that got spun. So Abel wants a better race here today than last night, but so far that seems to be the case. As good to see some chases out front, as we got, I believe, 5 of them up front now, but the best chaser right now is Trey Smith.
And I like those orange banners we got too, speaking of the orange. But how about this 3 machine there? Eric Monaco looking really strong right now as he's moved his way through the field very well here, and he's going to close right in on Trey Smith. I think he's going to take this race lead here shortly. And Eric Monaco hasn't really had much success over in the Wassup Cup Series as of late, but he's definitely looking strong here today. Trying to get that run on the inside. You know, Trey Smith almost looked like he kind of hit the brake there through the corner the way those guys closed in on him there. But Eric Monaco taking the race lead here on lap number 13. Lap number 12.
Oh boy, Monaco went from third to first in basically one lap. Impressive one right there for Monaco, who also has had a topsy-turvy season. Watkowski barely made it into the JBL Cup Series chase. Lance Smith Jr., the Uncharted 33, has been the best Uncharted car all season. And Monaco's just been interesting. He's had a lot of good ones, but when he's not having good ones, he ends up having bad luck or just has no pace. So, like entering this race, he has 6 top 10s. That's more top 10s than a lot of the chase drives. So Monaco could have been in the chase, but just didn't get the good ones when he needed them. But we might have to watch out for this 50 of Velez here that might challenge this number 3, as we are almost halfway through this field window, and definitely tires are now starting to take into effect here.
And we're just about halfway through the fuel window. We're going to have ourselves a 2-stopper here today, and that could get really dicey with the strategy. And you got to be careful coming down the pit lane here as well. That can definitely get kind of edgy around this place. And you see Allie there moving her way back through. She's top 5 once again, and that, or no, she's 6. Never mind. There's 5 cars ahead of her right there. But she's looking to go top 5 to the inside of Zachary Fitzwater for the 5th position. I'm going to ask you, Nathan, and, you know, it's been a little bit since I've seen a race in full here on your channel, but has Fitzy yet to go to victory lane yet in any series on your channel?
No. He's been...
He still hasn't. That is unbelievable. He's won 26 times over on my channel, and he's been in nearly every single race on your channel as well, and has never won. That's, feel bad for him, but hey, you know what? He seems to run well every time I'm in the booth here, so maybe it'll finally come through here today, but he's stuck in that outside lane.
Fitzy's gotten some better ones in the Power Truck Series. Did make it into the chase over there and has had some good ones, but have of course had some Zachary Fitzwater cursed ones as well. Hopefully can get some good luck here today. But how about this? We've only seen one Uncharted driver get a win this season, and that happened all the way back at, I believe, race 3 or race 4. Really early on in the season, and that was won by Trent Green, who's in the field in this race. But BB Ruiz is going to take the top spot from Eric Monaco. Will we see the second Uncharted driver get a victory and steal it from the full-timers? Ruiz might have a shot.
We're going to have to see. It's definitely possible. BB Ruiz definitely seems to have a really fast car in that 50 machine, and we'll have to see if they can hold on to it. Now, these guys aren't pulling away from each other that much, though, and that's going to be the big thing. But if you're up front when that cycle of pit stops begins, then you're going to have an opportunity getting this race victory, because then it's going to probably cycle through and spread out to a point where you got an advantage on the rest of these guys.
Yeah, for sure. Strategy's going to really play into a factor, because if this thing stays green, it's going to be a 2-stopper no matter what, because it's going to be about 30 laps on field, so that's, if this stays green, about 30 and lap 60, so easily 2-stopper, and that's really going to play into a factor as Monaco takes away really bad. Here comes
Look at Allie here. She's all the way up to 2nd now. Where did she come from?
She was in 6th or 7th at one point, dropped back, and might have a little bit of a long car in the 7 machine. Trey Smith is trying to catch back up, and I think Abel might also have a long car, because he's up inside the top 5 now.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this all ends up shaking out, because, you know, we're closing in on that cycle probably about 10 laps from now or so, and you know, if these guys can remain in their respective positions up front here when that cycle begins, then they can really start to work a good lead on these guys. You know, in past races that I've done, you know, on this track, back when I did equal rating series, you know, we still would get, if we had a long green flag run, and the guys really pull out at the end of that second run to a 3-4 second lead. So, you know, if you're up front now, and you can hold on to it off the pit lane, you can definitely gain a massive amount of time on the rest of the field and really just pull away with this thing. And I think that's what some of these guys are wanting to do. You got Aaron Abel there moving to the inside. Finally got a win in the Haas IndyCar Series at Pikes Peak. Called that race with me, so he's got a win on my channel now, which is great to see. And good to see him run up front here at Charlotte.
Abel's done a pretty good job over there in the Hostin Cup Series for him, and that's racing. And nice to see him have at least some luck. It's not been good for the chase for him in both Cup and Twats this season, but having a good one here finally. Dwight Smith making some big moves. I thought he was going to get to the inside of the 50 as well, but going to settle in beyond the 7. And how about this? Chaser, 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 chaser. 4 chasers running inside the top 7 here. Something I've not
like the
seen
JBL Cup Series.
Yeah, that's something that we've
These
not
guys
seen
definitely doing a good job, though, no doubt about it. And going to be interesting to see if any of these chasers go to victory lane today. Have we had a chaser win a race yet this season?
Surprisingly, no, we have not.
In the chase, I should say.
Not in the chase for Cup and Twats. No chasers have won so far.
Fascinating. But we could definitely end that streak here today, no doubt about it. You look at guys like Crampton, and then the 19 there of Aaron Abel. And, of course, Trey Smith in the 51 there. They're all really solid. Oh, no! Oh, no! That didn't work well.
Watch out! Oh, no, the poster. Oh my goodness.
Moment of all time in turn 2.
The big one, John Andrews, upside down. And, that collected Richard Kinghart was in the back of the field. Wyatt Walker. I think Wachowski's fine. I think the 6 is fine. I don't think a lot of chases were involved. I know Kinghart was. Hamill is fine. I think that didn't collect too many chases, but the big one was Richard Kinghart, and I don't think the 50 team's gonna be happy with Trey Smith right there.
I think a lot of teams are not going to be happy with Trey Smith after that one. That was an aggressive move into the corner from what I could see. The good thing about this wreck, it's not going to mess with the pit cycle. We're not going to end up with a fuel mileage race still because, or will we? Hold on a second. We got 59 laps to go in this race. It'll be 58 when we cross the line here. No, it will be 59 when we cross the line. So that could get kind of close. I think they're still good for one more stop after this, but it's going to be a little bit tight there in terms of fuel near the end. And if any of y'all saw the JBL Cup Series race at New Hampshire a couple weeks ago, you know exactly how that could be a factor. So definitely want to pack it full of fuel here so you can stretch it as long as you can under green, and then once that window opens, make sure you're good to go to the end.
Oh, man. We've definitely seen a handful of fuel strategy races, 3 or 4 of them in the Power Truck Series this season, so will not be out of the realm of possibility as Memphis Fisher is going to have trouble on pit road. It's going to be good. 3 right off pit road.
Tight there.
And who's going to be the winner off pit road? It will be Eric Monaco, Allison Rain, Travis Griffin, Abel, and how about Skylar Taylor? Good all season in history starts so far, and a great pit stop from that Tim Machine, Wall Garcia, Trey Smith, Brian Nelson, Angel Rivera, and Justin Seidel with some good pit stops. And well, a moment of all time here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and unfortunately, I do think Dale Campbell must have had a piece of it in that one, and gonna shake up the points a little bit here at Charlotte, and let's go ahead and see what happens to bring out the first caution of the day in the Advanced Auto Plus 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here we go, entering turns 1 and 2. This will happen to bring out the first caution of the day, and I don't know what Trey Smith was really doing here. Just got to the inside of the 50 and just turned him, sent him up the racetrack, and things went all haywire. And the way that Charlotte Motor Speedway is a narrow 1.5 miles, 3 lanes at the most, and unfortunately, this is not it. Close call from Jordan Sell right there to get past it, but then here comes the 31 of Roger James, the poster, nowhere to go for the 31 machine. And then here we go, this didn't stop, nowhere to go for all miles, Sean Andrews. Wyatt Walker misses the 50. Dale Camel gets a piece of it. Trent Screen gets a piece of it. And then these guys come sliding on in. John Andrews. And right here, Josh Ransom just arc braked into the side. as the 45 of Clifton slides in, and up and over, and on top of the 43, as the 31 is on top of the 23, and you saw Richard King and White Walker, the two main chasers involved in this run, and some good luck performances from some drivers, but unfortunately, don't think a lot of drivers are going to be too happy with the number 51 of Racing after that one.
And you're going to see right here, BB Ruiz kind of just gets one that is completely unexpected. Trey Smith's just like, get out of my way. Definitely a Ross Chastain moment right there. And the unfortunate thing about this is that, you know, he slides down and then everyone else gets caught up there. And then you see the 43 there. John Andrews getting flipped. And the track essentially blocked right there. Just a tough break for so many guys who did not deserve to be caught up in that. And it's all Trey Smith's fault right there. You blame the 51 Rick Ware Racing moment. But either way, we're going to get back to racing here and see how it all goes.
Definitely a Rick Ware Racing moment for sure. And gonna see what happens here on the restart. And let's go ahead and see what will happen on the first restart of the day here at Charlotte for the Advanced Outpost 500. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. We will go back in on lap number 29 of 84, and we are set for a restart. And if it's anything like at the start, we could be in for a wild restart here. Unfortunately, a lot of drivers are out from that one. Owen Miles, BP who was second, and before that happened, the poster, Roger James, John Andrews, who went flipping 20 at Screen, Josh Williamson, and Noah Clifton, both 23-11 racing cars are involved. Derek Hamill is one lap down, so looks like he was involved in that crash. Kinghart was, and that means that the two drivers that were tied for the points were involved in this one. So, coming to see what happens here. Monaco, Lane, Crampton, Apel, Taylor, Garcia, Smith, Nelson, O'Fare, and Seidel rounds out the top 10. Good to see Seidel up here, 7th in points, 33 points back. Who knows, he still could have a shot after this one with 3 races to go. But Monaco really leads back to the green on lap 29 of 84 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Good jump there out of Monaco. Here Crampton was looking there on Alley, but remain single file there throughout the first 5 positions or so.
Here we go. Able to the inside of Crampton. Barely.
And look at Alley. She's going to have a good run here on Eric Monaco for the race lead. Now, what I was saying before we had that wreck, you know, if we had a green flag cycle of pit stops, these guys could definitely pull some distance on the rest of the field after that cycle. Well, that didn't happen. Now they're all with one more pit stop essentially left to go in this race, and they're all still on each other. So, you know, we're going to have ourselves a pretty tight race all the way to the end, I do believe.
Yeah, we saw kind of a similar thing in the 600, but it was very competitive. But then the 600 went almost caution-free. This one obviously did not with a big one in 1 and 2. And this is really going to change things up. And how about Seidel? This number 5 of Hendrick Motorsports. You know, Hendrick Motorsports has 3 cars in this chase. As almost contact for the race lead between Monaco and Lane. HMS has 3 cars in the chase. And right now, coming into this thing, Watson is 5th. Seidel is 7th. And meanwhile, Orman's had a rough start to his chase after having a strong season overall. 12th in the chase standings. The odd man out has been Eli Bright, who's not even in the top 25 in points. But other than that, HMS has been strong, and Seidel is leading them here at Charlotte. And right now, Monaco and Lane look to be battling very hard for this race lead.
Yeah, to be careful not to battle too hard. We saw what happened between Trey Smith and BB Ruiz earlier on, so you know, I feel like Allie's not the kind of person to pull that kind of move. But then again, this is just a video game, and y'all have no control over what happens. So, gonna be interesting to see if we have another moment like that. But how about Skylar Taylor there? They've been doing an excellent job over in the Wawa Sprint Series, looking for a cup ride over on my end next year, and I think they're going to have an opportunity of doing that. But who knows? You know, you told me that they've been rolling really well so far in these last 3 races, and they're rolling pretty well right here, running 3rd.
Yeah, Skylar Taylor, 3 starts, 1 top 10, average finish of 14th in 3 races. Very, very strong. I think a couple of times they've been running a lot better than 14th. So this 10 car, you know, when it was the original guy in this 10 car was also really strong. So this 10 team has been fast all season, no matter who's in it. And Seidel, with a fast pit stop and a fast race car up inside the top 5 and trying to take third away, Seidel up from out of nowhere.
Yeah, how about Justin here in the 5 machine? A really solid run for him, up to third now. And only now here comes Trey Smith again. He's upside, or into the top 5, I should say. 99 there. Juan Garcia running fairly well. Haven't really talked too much about him either, and here he is. He's got to be careful there with his teammate of Angel Olvera there. But, yeah, how about Justin Seidel? He is really ripping it through this field now. Up to second in the 5 machine, and he might have a shot on Monaco here shortly.
I believe he restarted in 10th, so in a matter of 7 laps, he went from 10th to 2nd here. Ali might have something to say about that. Trying to get a 1, not going to get there, but from 10th to 2nd in only 7 laps, fantastic one from Seidel here. But Monaco, I think, might be the fastest car here. Have to see what Seidel can do. And as far as track, as you mentioned it, with Juan Garcia and almost taking out his teammate, it's kind of a disappointing season for him, because the start of the season, Olvera looked like was one of the strongest drivers this season, and same with Juan Garcia. Garcia countless amount of times he's had speed, but not gotten the finishes that he's wanted, and I believe he's one of the last guys in points full time, and he's the last guy in points, and he has 3 top 10s and 1 top 5, but other than that, it's been a rough season for Trackhouse and NR2003 team. JBL and Seidel and Ali battling for second once again.
Couple of Wassup Cup Series drivers going after. As a matter of fact, top 3 all running in the Cup Series. And Trey Smith has a development driver in the Cup Series, so, you know, a lot of crossover there. I always mention my own series. I should stop doing that. Hey, how about Seidel, though? Looking to the inside for the race lead. Good run for him there to the inside of Monaco. And how about Justin Seidel? He may be the driver to win this race, and you know, 7th in points right there, 33 behind. A win here today could definitely give him an opportunity. But how about Ali looking 3 wide for the race lead? What a move right there.
Nobody can stop Ali here today. Allison has a shot. Monaco has a shot. Seidel has a shot. And watch out for Seidel and Trey Smith. We have a 5-car battle for the race lead now.
They got to be careful right here. Monaco on that outside lane. How about Ali on that inside, though? She found the advantage there as those guys got side by side and closed right up on him. Going to bring Juan Garcia in. Skylar Taylor now in the mix as well. And look at these guys. They're all on each other here for the race lead here, and we're halfway through this one.
This is exactly of what the 600 was. Crazy, crazy stuff here at Charlotte. Fantastic racetrack here, and oh, we got a caution on lap number 40.
That ruined it.
Brian Nelson having a strong one to his chase, being a non-chaser, and looks like Juan Dewaney, who already has no hood. And looks like it is a lot minor than the first one, though. Looks like only 2 or 3 cars involved. Second caution of the day. And, yep, there's the couple right in turns 3 and 4. And now on that 40 of A4, 41 laps to go at the line. If they pit now, it's still a 1-stopper, but they would have to pit with about 10 laps to go.
Yeah, it's still going to be a 1-stopper, but it's still a guaranteed 1-stopper after this. But I think tire wear definitely something these guys are thinking about as they come down the pit lane here. And they got to be careful coming down the pit lane as well. So we're going to have to see how that all ends up shaking out. But Ali going to lead these guys down. We'll have to see if she can end up beating everybody off as well.
Very interesting race so far. Very fantastic racing. Unfortunately, that caution ended a 5-6 car battle for the race lead. But have to see if who wins the race off pit road. Will someone do what Seidel did, pop up one out of nowhere and claim themselves as the shot for the race victory here? Allison Rain gonna easily win the race off of pit road here. The rewrite off pit road, Juan Garcia in second, Taylor third, Seidel fourth, Monaco fifth. How about Logan Williams who won at Daytona? Gonna be up here. Mitchell Collins, Dylan Ton, and Abel. There's the 14 of Fitzy. I think he might be up front more than I honestly don't know. Orman, Trey Smith, a lot of chasers are going to be restarting up front. love to see that here. And see what Allison Rain can do here as the race leader. I'm almost halfway through this one here at Charlotte, and let's go ahead and see what happened for the second caution of the day in the Advanced Outpost 500. What is the deal with these chase drivers wrecking instant drivers that are not even in the chase? First Trey Smith to the 50 of Reds, now Travis Crampton in turns 3 and 4 this time, just dived it in very, very late and just took out the 18. Just blinked, and I don't know what that was all about. I guess Travis didn't want M&M's or something, I don't know. But it was only a one-color spin into the outside wall for Brian Nelson, and that sucks for him because he's had a very strong chase for being a non-chase driver. And that's going to stop that one here at Charlotte. Only a one-color incident for Brian Nelson, and unfortunately no one else was involved but tough wait for the 18.
Yeah, Travis Crampton there, my trading card buddy there, just completely took out Brandon Nelson. That was a lot like the Trey Smith incident, only a lot more obvious than the Trey Smith incident. Just ran right up into him. Thankfully, no one else got caught up in that one, and it was just a one-car spin, but tough break for Brandon Nelson there in that 18.
A very tough break, having a nice stretch of races to end the season. And that one is not going to be a nice stretch of races. Well, this one's not going to be a nice race for him, unfortunately. Have to see how everything transpires here. About halfway through this one in the Advanced Outpost 500, can Allison Rain stay up front? Let's go and find out here at Charlotte. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway for Season 4 of the JBL Cup Series. We will go back just past halfway here in this one for the Advanced Outpost 500. This might be 500 miles, not 600 miles, but it's still putting on a show. What a battle for the race leader that we have had with the top 5, top 6 right before that second caution of the day. That looked like to be between Ryan Dwyer and Brian Nelson. So only a 2-car incident. And Allison Rain won the race off pit road. Juan Garcia in second. Skylar Taylor in third. Seidel fourth. Monaco fifth. The most recent winner at Daytona, Logan Williams in sixth. Richard Collins and seventh. Daniel Ton in eighth. Uncharged driver Aaron Abel in ninth, and Nathan Woman down over inside the top 10 and 10th. And 4 chases, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, all in the line. So, seeing some more chases make their way up the front, and it will be Allison Rain and Juan Garcia leading us back to the green with about 40 laps to go in the Advanced Outpost 500. Good start from Rain, good start from the top 3. Abel's the first one to make a move behind Mitchell Collins in the 22. And oh boy, here we go. Garcia looked at it, Taylor looked at it. I thought they were going to go 3 over wide for the race lead. And Taylor might go for second place here.
Yeah, how about Skylar Taylor here in this one? Good run for him right there, and Allison Rain holding on to the race lead for now. Watch out for Seidel. How about the 17 machine? Finding their way up there. Logan Williams looking pretty strong right now. Had a great pit stop, and now he's in the mix of all these guys. I'm excited to see who's going to end up getting this race victory. It could be any of these drivers, and it's going to be very interesting to see who gets it done.
Logan Williams, he won the All-Star race. He won at Daytona last mount, trying to get his second win in a row here. And Logan Williams, he's starting to get hot at the right time. It's bad he's not a chase driver. Skylar Taylor doing a fantastic job in this 10 machine out front for Stewart Racing. As Seidel, once again, looking very strong on this restart. And Collins out of nowhere, the 22 moved to 17 into the 9-9. And we are in store for another crazy restart, I can already tell.
These guys just race so aggressively around here, and that's why we've already seen 2 cautions so far. But we're going to have to see how it ends up shaking out here. If we're going to get another caution or not, because if this thing stays green, I'm still going to... Oh, never mind. It's not going to stay green.
What a save from Jordan Stout. Is the caution going to be out, though? And it is. Commentators close there, Alex. Third caution of the day, but
Yeah,
definitely the mildest one. Just a simple 360 spin from Jordan Stout.
yeah, that was definitely just a product of the aggressive racing that we're seeing so far. But yeah, Skylar Taylor now up front. We'll have to see if they can hold on to it. We'll have to see if anyone comes down the pit lane here. We just came down, so it's going to be interesting if anyone plays strategy here, because we're not at a point where they can make it to the end of the race. So I don't know, only unless you're in the back of the field, if you're really going to want to take tires or fuel right now. So I think everyone's probably going to stay out right here.
See, most of the front rows are going to stay out. And I think you're right. I don't think anyone's going to come down. Not, oh, the 15 of Chris Reynolds is, though.
Interesting.
And obviously the 21 is, because he spun and destroyed those 4 tires. So going to get from fresh tires, which are on Stout and Ronnie Dwyer. So might have to watch out for Chris Reynolds, Jordan Stout here. On what they do here. They still cannot make it on fuel, so it's going to be interesting. With that being said, let's go ahead and quickly see what happened to bring out the third caution of the day in a wild Advanced Elvis 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Well, I guess the non-chasers finally got revenge. I don't know what Fitzy was up to here, but entering 1 and 2, Stout got tight, I believe, washed up the racetrack, almost got into Travis Crampton. This almost became more than what it actually was, but because of that allowed Fitzy to get to the inside of Stout, and Fitzwater just turns Jordan Stout down the racetrack and then into the advanced outputs car of Jordan Edwards and just sends the 21 around. Just a simple spin. Don't know what Fitzy was up to right there, but kind of like what the other 2 crashes started with, just a simple spin. And unfortunately, this happens to third in points, Jordan Stout in the number 21.
Yeah, this was a very unique little incident here. I think Zachary Fitzwater, you know what? Stout moves up, almost puts Crampton in the wall, and if Fitzwater tries to take advantage, and then you got the 12 right to his inside, there's just nowhere for Jordan Stout to go in that situation. Thankfully, it was just a simple spin, but yeah, they're just a little bit aggressive back in there. A very aggressive restart. We'll have to see if they're as aggressive on this next one.
Yeah, that's been the case all day long. These restarts have been very, very aggressive. Oh, boy.
And that happened.
The 41 of Dwyer racing back to the line, and that might be affecting Jordan Stout here on the long one here. Because we saw him pit down, or go down pit road as I thought it was just to fix the tires, but clearly it was to fix the damage. So, have to see if this strategy works out for Stout, Dwyer, and Reynolds, and see if how much of that damage affects me on the restart. Let's see what happens here. And can Taylor hang on to get his first career victory on the channel? And when will pit stops happen? A lot of questions. And let's get the answers here at Charlotte for the Advanced Outputs 500. And let's get back to the restart. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway after a simple caution from Jordan Stout. Third in points, now gonna have to work his way from the back to the front. And this could really open up the door for anyone up here, like Seidel, like Woman, Abel, Smith, Crampton, because the top 3 in points, Kinghart, Hamel, Stout all have problems, and even Scott Upton, I don't think he's had major problems, but he's stuck in the back of the field, so this could really open up the door wide open even more. And the last 3 races of the season, Vegas, Phoenix, and Homestead, we could have a championship fight of all time here in the JBL Cup Series, but still have 34 at the line, 33 laps to go, so almost in the fuel window to make it to the end, but not quite there. Taylor will lead us back to the green flag with Lane, Seidel, Williams, and Abel, the top 5 on the restart. Let's see if we can get some more green flag racing in as a massive start from Skylar Taylor.
Yeah, that was a really good jump right there, and Watch out for these guys going to jam it up behind Alley here. Look at Logan Williams there, looking for the third position. We'll just have to see, hopefully these guys can keep it together. I'd love to see this thing go green the rest of the way, because if that does happen, we're going to end up with pit stops. That's what I was going to say before Jordan Stout went spinning down the backstretch there. We're going to end up having pit stops right near the end. Everyone's going to have to come down, but that could really get interesting, because you could go fuel only and maybe jump some guys here in the back of the field. We may see some guys take tires. I don't know what we're going to see, but I hope we see green flag all the way to the finish here, Charlotte.
We've not had green flag pit stops yet, but the tire, especially during that first one, was really starting to take into effect 24 laps in. And if we see this race stay green to the end, Tyler is really going to play into a factor and really determine of who size of what they do, as almost contact between April, Seidel, and Trey Smith back there.
And more 3 wide, and that's what's caused a lot of issues today. Of course, the Trey Smith incident was not 3 wide. He just ran into BB Ruiz there, but Trey Smith's kind of a little bit of a Ross Chastain here today. He's been quite aggressive in that 51 machine, and who knows, that may award him a race victory here. You got, I don't know, can't quite tell. That's a Toyota machine right there. That is 26. The 20. Who is the 26? I didn't even know there was a 26. Will Parrish. Like 26. There wasn't a 26 in the Cup Series last year. There may have been, and I just didn't remember. But how about Will Parrish? We were talking about BB Ruiz earlier on, uncharted drivers right there, and how about Will Parrish in the top 5 now?
And of course, we were talking about Transqueen being the only uncharted driver to get a race victory all the way back at Phoenix. Who his teammate is? The number 26, Team Hesper. So, Team Hesper, they've been one of the strongest uncharted teams, and I believe one of 2 teams with 2 cars. So, have to see what this 26 can do with Will Parrish. Will Parrish, a very good driver in the NR community, and trying to take advantage of it up front, as watch out for Trey Smith right behind him, because we all know what happened when he was in front of a uncharted driver earlier. But so far, Taylor doing a good job out front at Charlotte.
They're holding on to it, and I think we're kind of seeing at this point, tire wear definitely coming into effect. Nowhere near as aggressive as they were before that, or after that last restart. So this guy's definitely keeping it cool. How about Mitchell Collins here in the 22? Good run for him to the inside of Alley right there, and then Logan Williams still there as well. Skylar Taylor pulling out here in this number 10 machine, and now the window is open. So, I don't think we're going to see any strategy at this point, but if you come on the pit lane now, you were good to go to the end of the race.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the tire. We did have a decent green flag 1 for 5-7 laps before that Jordan Stout spin, so I think that's playing into effect here on a nice calm restart. Still some good racing, but not as chaotic as it has been so far. Have to see if Collins can close in on Taylor. And the story of the season all year long has been the Ford dominance. And we are seeing it once again here at Charlotte. Ford now 1, 2, 3. We've not really seen Ford dominance all race long until very, very late. Ford 1, 2, 3. But Allison trying to stop that from happening here at Charlotte. And let's just take a look here. Jordan Stout and Chris Rose, they pitted the 4 fresh tires. And here comes Chris Reynolds moving his way up through the field. He still cannot make it on fuel, but he might be in a situation where he could just take no tires and just take a splash late in of the going.
Could be an interesting little strategy here out of Chris Reynolds to possibly steal a race victory. See what he can do. But I'm not going to say anything, because if I do, they're going to wreck again. But going to be interesting to see, these guys definitely spreading out up front, and, will anybody take strategy if this thing stays green and we end up with those green flag pit stops? Because some of these guys may have no other choice but to maybe pull something out of their hat to get up front and get this race victory. How about 62 machine there going 3 wide on Trey Smith and Allison Rain right there? That was tight.
Dalian Ton in the number 62, and that's been the name of the game all chasing on these non-charter drivers and these part-time / uncharted cars in both trucks and cup. They are not messing around. At Oswego Dirt, all 4 part-time trucks finished inside the top 6. earlier in this one we had the 50th one, and now we have the 26th and 62th one. So even though we have some chase drivers out here, these part-time drivers, especially, are not messing around in these chase races.
Not at all. I mean, we've seen 3 of the 4 chasers in this race run up front here today, so they're definitely doing an excellent job. Meanwhile, Mitchell Collins, he's doing an excellent job, closing on a Skylar Taylor there for the race lead. And we got ourselves 22 laps to go here at Charlotte, so still a long ways left until we get the checkered flag here, and of course another cycle of pit stops, whether that be during the green flag run or during a yellow flag. So a lot to be determined here in this Advanced Auto Parts 500.
Still a long way to go. Still got one more pit stop at some point in this one, as the lead right here was third place with the 62, 26, and the 17. Collins enters this race and 33rd in points, so rough season for that 22 machine, as the 17 just bustling the top side in 1 and 2. And I mentioned that in pre-race, sometimes the outside lane can work out, and it worked out right there, but you have to get down to the inside lane before 3 and 4, because the middle and outside is not really want to be in 3 and 4, and unfortunately, there goes the 62 and the 51 as well for local Williams here.
There's tire wear also coming into effect at this point as well, and I don't think that outside lane works near as well with the worn tires, which is kind of interesting because normally you would think it'd be the opposite, because you have that wider arch, you don't actually have to utilize the grip as much if you take the wider arch as you do if you're on the inside, but that is the case right now. And yeah, definitely see those two guys really slipping back there. Allison Rain really losing a lot of ground there. First top two, they got a second on the field right here, so if it can keep that lead going into the cycle, they're really going to have the advantage on everybody because they have a little bit of wiggle room if they make a slight mistake. But of course, if we're going green here during the cycle of pit stops, and there is no room for error here if you want to get this race victory.
Yeah, for sure. And how about Angel Vela inside the top 10 now? Of course, I talked about him being probably one of the best drivers to start off the season, and now sits 28th in the point standings, so massive fall for Ovela. And I'm just going to go back here. How about the advanced outputs card of Jordan Edwards here? Had a rough outing at Indianapolis, and has had a rough season overall. Sits 34th in the point standings, and the only full-time driver behind him is Juan Garcia. So rough season for Edwards, but a great outing from the number 12 advanced outputs card, and a great one from Team Penske for what has been overall a fairly struggling and tough season.
Yeah, absolutely. Good run here for Chris Reynolds as he continues to work up through the field, but I don't know if that strategy is going to really work out for him because there's such a distance now between him and the race leader. But he is closing in. I just don't think he's going to have enough. We'll just have to see. We're still kind of close to pit stops. I mean, I would venture to say these guys are going to probably start coming down. I would say maybe about have to come down himself, but we're running out of time in this race, and these guys, these crew chiefs, are definitely working the gears in their head to see what they're going to do here in a few laps.
Still one more guaranteed pit stop with 16 laps to go, and Chris Reynolds might be at an advantage with those 4 fresh tires, as he is absolutely moving his way up through the field. He's in 10th now in this 15 machine. Meanwhile, Jordan Stout, I don't know if he has a little bit of damage from that spin, but he's still sitting in 27th here. So tough wait for Stout, who also came down with Chris Reynolds. And see Watson's deep in the field. Upton, Stout. Here we go.
Cycle's beginning here. And someone just peeked there, Olvera. Now this is where things can really get dicey because it's a very difficult pit lane to come down here at Charlotte, and if we end up with a wreck during the cycle, half the field could be kind of left out to dry if caution does come out during the cycle of pit stops. So they got to be careful.
The final round of pit stops with that 15 laps to go here. Is Taylor going to come down pit road? No, he's not, but the 22 of Collins is, and have to see what ends up being the way to go here, the undercut or the overcut, with 14 laps to go here at Charlotte.
We got a lot of guys coming down right here. I have to see if any one of these guys take tires. That's going to be interesting because, you know, if someone does go fuel only, they could jump the field. And we see tires there on Mitchell Collins. He was second. Let's see what Skylar Taylor ends up doing in the 10 machine. And
He's
still out there.
Gone. Yeah, yeah, he's on.
He may have gone fuel only.
Up there he
no,
is.
he still stayed out there. So we'll have to see what he does because, you know, you got, I don't know, you got what, 12 laps left in this race. You know, they're definitely going to want to get that advantage on everybody else, considering they were up front. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, 2 tires. I think that's the way to go. You don't want it to be too long because you don't need that much fuel here to end the race, but you definitely want to at least change some of the tires so you got some bit of an advantage on these guys you're racing with.
Oh boy, let's see here. Where is the number 22? There's the 22 of Mitchell Collins. And let's see, will he beat the number 10 off the pit road? There's the 51. 62, 24, 17. There's the 10. There's the 10.
Yeah, this is going to be close. This is going to be close, but I think Mitchell may have gotten it there. How about that? Jumping Skylar Taylor there on the pit lane.
Not by much, but it was enough for Collins to take the race lead away. And I want to say it's about 7/10 of a second between the top two. As I just realized the 15 has not pitted yet.
Yeah, Chris Reynolds can go a little bit longer. And here's the thing for Chris Reynolds. If he catches a caution at the right time, he may be able to stretch it. But right now, he's got everyone a lap down. So if a caution comes out now, you know, he may get the race victory because he's got the whole field lapped at this moment. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can, in fact, hold on and hang on for a possible race victory, if he can hold on to it here.
The 15 and the 41 are the only colors still out here. Stalhut did the same strategy as these two, already pitted. Duani, he has a damaged front end, so he has nothing to worry about. And here's the thing, with the 15, I don't know if he can make it all the way, but he's really trying to make it barely here. And when it does come down, as the 41 did finally pit, yep, there he is, so I'm assuming the 15 is going to pit momentarily here. Does the 15 put 2 tires on like everyone else and just hope for the best, or is he going to try to gamble and do a splash of fuel?
Well, you're definitely going to go fuel only. Want to be as quick as possible on the pit lane if you have to come down. But, you know, it's going to be tight. He may actually stretch this one out, and that's going to be very fascinating. But he's got to let Olvera by here. He's got to be careful not to get caught up in a wreck or anything like that because he is a bit off the pace compared to everybody else. And you see right there, that was a little tight. You know, the closing rate sometimes just comes into effect, and sometimes these drivers just don't judge it correctly. But you might want to watch for this because, you know, if Reynolds does have to come down, this will be for the race lead between Collins and Taylor. And look at Skylar there at the inside for what will now be second.
Taylor and Collins battling for what could be eventually for the race victory here if the 15 of Reynolds cannot get the finish here on the racetrack. These guys are catching up with him, that's the thing. The 15 is doing a 31-1 and these guys are doing a 30.0 on 2 fresh tires, so it's about a second fall off on old 4 tires versus 2 fresh new tires, so not a massive difference, but it is enough. And yep, here we go.
There he goes. Okay, so let's see. Does he go fuel? Oh, he does. He go fuel only there. Almost thought Taylor and Collins were coming down there the way they enter through that corner. If you're Reynolds, you just got to go fuel only. You got to be there for just a couple seconds. Oh no, he's going to go 2 tires.
That might not work out for him.
I just don't know. I mean, did he gain enough of an advantage on everyone staying out there or not? It's going to be close here. Because you got Taylor there on the backstretch. Reynolds is already off and done with his pit stop, so he's got to go pit road speed all the way down here, but he may actually be able to beat him.
Oh, boys. Nope. Nope, not enough.
Not gonna happen. Good effort though for that team. I mean, they tried something there, but just not enough for them. And now you got these two guys going for it, Collins and Taylor, and one of them's going to get it here.
It's going to come down to these two. It's been a wild race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Taylor, in only his 4th Cup Series start as a filling driver, trying to steal it from Mitchell Collins and everyone else who has done every single race this season. Wouldn't this be a storyline and a half for this 10 team? And I mean, they did get a couple of wins with the driver that was in this car, so it's not like it's a fluke victory. This 10 car's been fast all season. Oh no, Ryan Torrey just blew up. Well, bad day goes to us.
That's a tough break for him there.
And Taylor's starting to pull away from the 22 now.
Yeah, no, I think Skyler, unless something drastic happens, and, we've seen drastic things over in the Wall Cup Series, I think they're going to have this one in the bag. Good run for Skyler Taylor. Only his 4th race of the season. And going to be a tight one here. But I think they're going to get it in that number 10 machine.
And, I don't think he's going to have a reserve, but depending on what ends up happening in the JBL Cup Series for Season 5, got some stuff planned behind the scenes. Who knows, maybe he could be impressing the team for next season. Because if he's able to hang on to get his first victory and only his 4th start, and honestly, he's been fast in all 4 races so far. So, impressive stuff from Taylor as they are racing really hard back here. As how about the 42 of Stephen Collins? He's going to get a 3rd place finish potentially. And Kowski, I don't know, is going to get a good one. Same with Orman being 12th in points. He's going to gain a lot of
wondering if some of those guys ended up going 4 tires and are kind of like cutting through this field here because they are flying. It's just not going to be enough to get to Skylar Taylor and Mitchell Collins, but they are really flying out there here at Charlotte. But it's a half a lap to go for Skylar Taylor. I'll bout this for them. Great win for the number 10 team and only in their 4th race of the season.
Yeah, I think Lauren did something with some drivers on 4 tires versus 2, but how about this? Taylor, 4th JBL Cup Series start, gets the first career win in the series, and another one for the non-chasers here today, after what started like so many competitive chasers were up front, like Stout, Upton, Crampton, Zidell, Smith, Apel, Woolman, all up front, but pit strategy late. Ended up giving it to Skylar Taylor in this 10 car. And I mean, not too surprising. This is the 3rd win for this 10 team this season. So, this car has won a lot, 3rd time, and oh my goodness, we're wrecking on pit road. Well,
at least this is after the race.
Well, definitely a wild one here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I don't know exactly what's going to go down here and who's going to end up being a point leader. Taylor gets the win, Collins 2nd, Parrish 3rd, Cologne 4th, Wachowski with a great one in 5th. He entered this race 9th in points, going to gain a lot of points. Beal in 5th and assists, Edwards in 7th, Williams in 8th, Woolman 12th in points, entering this one in 9th, Rain in 10th, Fitzwater with 11th, Moore 12th. Hamill, I don't know, is going to get 13th. I don't know where he came from. Being a lap down at one point. Tarn in 14th, Seidel 15th, Crampton 16th, White 17th, Fordham 18th, Smith 19th, and Monaco 20th. I do think a little while on that, I think some drivers did take 4 tires there late, like Parrish and Collin, and were able to move their way up the field. And if this was, let's say, a 90 lap race instead of an 84, maybe Parrish and Collin could have had something, but it's going to be interesting of what ends up happening in this one for the point standings with, let's see here. Stout was the last chase driver. Then Upton deep in the field, Walker, Watson, Abel, 25th after being inside the top 7 most of the day. And then Kinghart. So I think somehow, someway, Hamlin's going to be the new point leader with those two being tied. Hamlin somehow is going to get 13th and Kinghart's going to get 23rd. So I think it might be something like a 10-point lead or something along those lines. Oh boy.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight, no doubt about it.
Well, a wild one here at Charlotte for the JBL Cup Series. What's your final thoughts here for the 4th chase race of season number 4?
Definitely a good one, no doubt about it. That was a lot of fun, and good to finally see a green flag cycle of pit stops, which definitely, it didn't really affect the end of the race too much, but how about Will Parrish, Stephen Cologne there, getting some strategy to go their way, and even though they didn't have enough to get to Skylar Taylor and those guys, still a great race. And how about Skylar Taylor? They've been doing such an excellent job over there in the Wall Sprint Series, and they got one here on the big side on your end at least, and that's their first win on the channel, I do assume, right there. So
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, great race, and thank you for having me in the booth to be a part of it.
It was definitely a fantastic race, a lot of great racing when they stayed green, and it was definitely a race of all time. And for Alex, I'm NS Racing97, aka Nathan Stapleton. You guys will see the points coming up next here at Charlotte. And congratulations to Skylar Taylor for getting the first win on the season, and congrats to the 10 team for getting the 3rd. And next week we will be at Las Vegas for the 2nd time this season for the JBL Cup Series, and we are going to Watkins Glen for the Power Truck Series. And only 3 weeks remain until we crown 2 champions here for Season 4 of the JBL Cup Series and Power Truck Series. For Alex, I'm NS97, and we will see you guys next time at Watkins Glen and Las Vegas. Bye!